team will feel magical since our focus is on serving you and your roofing needs.
Finding a roofer who actually shows up and communicates, that's just one of the problems we solve by informing you of every step in the process.
Selling premium roofing systems backed by warranties and payment plans starting at just $99 per month. Trust Absolute Restoration to deliver.
Experience unicorn-level service and affordability from a team your community trusts. Call Absolute Restoration today.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Welcome into the Room to Room Weather Center here at Mississippi Live Weather at 5. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynor. We'll get to our Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon out in the field for an exclusive look in here in just a moment. But let's first talk about what we'll be discussing here at the 5 o'clock hour. First of those, of course, that exclusive look from the Chickasaw Heritage Center. Matt walking us through that in more detail and just what to expect. But we are tracking in that extended forecast more seasonable temperatures. Saw it today. Those will continue to be in place through the rest of our work week as well. And the much drier air over that extended forecast, making it feel so much better outside. It's just going to be an ideal forecast. And Matt is actually in the elements right now, experiencing this much more seasonable forecast and giving us that live look in. Matt, just what does it feel like outside and how does it look out there?
Well, it feels excellent out here. We are at the site of the Chickasaw Heritage Center, which for so many people for so long has been a dream, a combination of private, public, and Chickasaw partnership to make this come to life here. So Chukma, which is welcome in Chickasaw. Hopefully I got that right. But behind me, I guess the location where we're at, this is going to be kind of the atrium, the lobby, the welcome area here with I swung it all the way around. We'll see if I can swing it back where you can actually see some behind me. 30-foot columns here. Kind of a unique thing in the way that, well, I won't get into all those construction details. We'll let them talk about that again here in a minute. This, of course, a $60 million project. And so many folks watching this now around the region have contributed to that. And fundraising is still underway. Of course, we'll talk about how you can help out with that here in a minute as we talk to a CEO of the Chickasaw and Kana Foundation, as well as the director of this Heritage Center, which at this point we're expecting to get completed by at least November of next year, which is exciting. We're getting closer to that. Of course, all those details live here from Tupelo at the Chickasaw Heritage Center coming up here in a couple minutes. But Gabe, you asked specifically about the weather and there's a breeze. That's something that doesn't feel very summer-like. I am not sweating profusely. That is an improvement as well. And if this is this nice, I can't wait to see the way that gets in the 7-day forecast. We'll have that, of course, come up here in a few minutes. Live from the Chickasaw Heritage Center, Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon, Mississippi Live Weather.
Well, Matt, thank you for giving us that live look in, and we'll jump back to you here in just a moment, so don't get too far away from us. Don't enjoy it too much. We need you back here at Mississippi Live Weather here in a couple of minutes. So let's jump back into that forecast. 10% chance of rain. Now, that's very isolated out there towards our northwest Alabama counties, just one of those boundaries that are interacting with that moisture in the air, what's left of that moisture, and causing a few of those pop-up showers once again. But those dry conditions really persist in those overnight hours. So for our first 12, staying on the drier side and staying on the cooler side. Yes, you are seeing those temperatures correctly. I was actually blocking it, but 69 degrees towards tomorrow morning. A very nice start to our day, and that's how it'll be throughout the rest of our day as well with those more seasonable conditions. Let's get a live look outside and these beautiful clouds. Some of these altostratus, which is basically those lines in the sky, almost look like shaking a little bit. So a little bit breezy there in Adenton as well. 86 degrees, feeling like 95, so those heat indices still climbing, but a little bit of a step back from what we've been at the past few days. Not talking triple digits, just a great sign of things to come, right? Matt was talking about that 7-day forecast. Well, he's exactly right, and we'll get into that here in just a moment. Caledonia really showing off those blue skies down there around Lowndes County. Now, this is looking northwest. I'm curious if we point this, Caleb, would you mind pointing this a little bit more towards the southeast if we have access to that? And pointing this towards the southeast where we had a little bit of that moisture down around Pickens County. 89 degrees, still feeling like 95, but the reason why it's dry, a big driver in that forecast, is those winds coming out of the northwest by about 14 miles an hour. So drying up that atmosphere, taking away those mostly cloudy skies that we were experiencing earlier on today and making it feel much better. Is it working for you?
You said southeast?
Yes, southeast, out there towards Pickens County. So getting a few more of those cumulus clouds that are happening, but, oh, we might be blocked.
There's southeast
Right there? Yeah. So you're kind of seeing the horizontal development on a few of those clouds, but some of those trying to extend a little bit more vertically. That's where those pop-up showers are happening. So Caledonia staying on the drier side, but out there towards Pickens County, Gordo, Reform, watching a few of those isolated chances for you guys. For the rest of North Mississippi, dry as well, so at least soak in that forecast because this is as good as it gets here in the summer forecast. 90 degrees, feeling like 95. Coming out of the northeast, those winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. So a bit of a breezy afternoon. Matt was talking about it earlier, how it's kind of taking away some of those sweaty conditions because it's still 90 degrees, so making it feel a little bit better with those winds coming out of the north, some of that drier, cooler air. 88 degrees in Pontotoc, feeling like 91, so those heat indices not nearly as impactful, but here you get a good visual at those horizontal clouds, not really building up there towards the north, so we're not going to see any of that vertical development for any of those rain chances. A good sign for our extended forecast, but we do still need rainfall, so it's kind of like, do you want rainfall or do you not? We need it, no doubt, but for some of those outdoor plans, this is as good of a forecast as you can get. So we were talking about those showers down there towards Pickens and Noxubee County. Going to primarily look at those areas and loop this over the last 30 minutes to get a good idea on that track. You can see just following these boundaries as they extend further to the south, and that's where we're getting some of that development, the heaviest one out there towards Macon, but you might notice that I'm actually going to move it here towards Mississippi. 0 strikes, well, do we have one? 0 strikes over the last 30 minutes. So not an electric storm, not one like what we were seeing yesterday, so definitely a step back in that direction. But as these storms continue to build further to the south, I'm going to put a track on that heaviest portion. That's moving through the Macon area, basically extending south. Let's see, speed on that, I would say 10 miles an hour. We're seeing Calix by about 552, and that's going to be on the southeast side of Noxubee County. Some more of those isolated showers, of course, popping up, but not overly high on those rain chances. You do see that boundary, and I'm going to draw it out for you guys real quick and put this on the latest scan. See that boundary right there. So more showers expected to develop as that remains over there towards Pickens County, and a similar boundary happening right here towards Noxubee County, just kind of developing more of those pop-up showers. It doesn't look like, let me just loop this over the last 30 minutes again. I'm trying to see if these boundaries are going to collide. I think what we have here is that's pretty much staying stationary right there on the west side of Pickens County. This one pretty stationary on the east side of Noxubee County. I'm not expecting these to collide with each other, so very little development expected in the next hour, 2 hours or so. So this is really the extent of our rain chances. Zooming it back out to the entirety of North Mississippi, that's where the moisture remains. And we basically have this giant divide that we'll talk about here on surface analysis. Where the boundary is on the east side of that boundary, of course, more moist conditions, but on the west side, that's really us here in North Mississippi, staying on the drier side. So that's a big driver in our forecast. Just extending things out right here. This is a look at that surface analysis. I'm going to take it out just a bit. There's a look at your boundary. So the further north you are from that boundary, very little development, but some of those showers and storms starting to develop just a bit more. I'm going to try and get a pin right there. So there's your boundary like I was talking about. And so where you're getting those showers, they're basically forming along the boundary, and as that pushes to the south, those rain chances push along with it. So those rain chances, you can kind of see where that boundary, the northern extent of it is, right along Highway 82 almost. So showers expected to continue for areas south of 82 for very isolated sporadic development. I'd say if you're north of Highway 82, staying on the drier side and not expecting any rain chances overnight. So the large bulk, of course, down around the coastal regions, but that's where we could see a few more pop-up showers, especially back here towards Attala, Winston, Noxubee, and Pickens County there towards northwest Alabama. Now let's go ahead and track out a few of those cells that do try to form a little bit more of those showers. You see that one back there towards Chula, closer to 730, so south of 82, that's why I was mentioning, is the most susceptible area for a few of those showers to pop up. 10 o'clock though, a lot of that moisture being pushed off to the south and not seeing many showers here in North Mississippi. So that drier forecast continues to remain in place. Any plans your Thursday evening? Well, perfect to take it outside, especially with the much better temperatures, right? Well, Friday morning starting off on the drier side as well. Those clouds clearing out as those northern winds continue to become a bit more breezy. 8 a.m. you're probably seeing about 5, 10, maybe even 15 mile an hour winds consistently coming out of the north. So that's going to be perfect for those drier conditions and perfect for those cooler conditions. No, your eyes do not deceive you. 69 degrees for the start of the day, climbing into the low 90s by your afternoon, but plenty of sunshine on tap through the day. That'll be a perfect forecast for Friday night plans, but we'll talk in more detail about your Friday and of course about your upcoming weekend coming up in the next 60 here on Mississippi Live Weather. We're also going to take another exclusive look with Matt on what he has from the Chickasaw Heritage Center coming up here in the next minute.
For more than 100 years, First Choice Bank has provided dedicated community banking to North Mississippi. The banking products and services you need when you need them. At First Choice, you're our priority. Make First Choice your choice for banking.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt LaPon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt LaPon has proven himself trustworthy.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynard.
Getting a latest look at the Mississippi Live Weather Radar has those showers primarily south of 82, really towards Noxubee County and Pickens County once that banner clears in just a moment. What we have on the backside of this, a lot of that just clear air mode, not tracking any showers north of 82. So fortunately on the drier side, because we definitely got our rain chances yesterday. Tracking those showers here in the Room to Room Weather Center, those boundaries, that's a big driver in our forecast. So as long as that boundary remains on the west side of Pickens County, more of those showers developing. So Aliceville, not completely out of the woods just yet, with a little bit more of those showers possible into our late afternoon, early evening. Now Macon getting a decent downpour right now. That continues to progress south along 45. So folks in southern Noxubee County, you're not in the clear either. That's our primary areas that we are watching heading into our Thursday evening. So make sure to have that rain gear ready if you're in any of those locations I just listed. Elsewhere, you're good to go. 88 degrees Smithville, feeling like 91, and those winds very breezy coming out of the north, about 10 to 15 miles an hour, or reading 13 on that station there in Smithville. As we track across the area, Smithville not the only one getting those more seasonable temperatures. 86 coming out of Kosciuszko, feeling like 95. So moisture definitely playing a part still, but definitely several steps back from what we were sitting at, not yesterday, but previous days whenever it was that more hot and dry forecast. Those winds, those northern winds really providing that drier and cooler air. So across the region, expect those conditions to continue. Hey, Caleb, did you ride the bus today?
I didn't. I walked across campus.
Oh man, we need to start getting that bus pass so we can get back on the bus. But yeah, this is a look down in Starkville. I know students are happy about having their first dry day of classes. Emphasis on that because the first day was yesterday, a little bit of a dreary forecast. This more ideal, perfect Starkville weather. So shout out to all the Bulldogs down there enjoying their first day of school. Ole Miss, you are still about 4 days away before your first day. So enjoy this last weekend before the school year gets going. 86 degrees, feeling like 95, and even down in Oktibbeha County, those winds coming out of the north, pretty breezy, about 5 to 10 miles an hour. So it's going to be a perfect forecast, as perfect as you can get for summer. 69 degrees towards your pickup as the school picks you up tomorrow morning for school. 91 by drop-off, so still going to be toasty. It's around our average for this time of year, but where that northern wind comes into play is with that humidity and with that drier air. Those 90s, believe it or not, actually become a bit more bearable. So for your evening tonight, staying on the drier side with that 10% chance down there towards Noxubee and Pickens County, but then drying out overnight and then into that school bus forecast like we just tracked a moment ago. Let's track that futurecast out, and there's those rain chances. Really a good idea on where that timing is on those showers, sticking those around that Pickens and Noxubee County area. It does have some of this sporadic development on the northern side. Let me tell you why I don't believe in that. See these winds coming out of the north right there? That's more of that continental air. And continental air means that it comes from the central part of the United States. You don't have the Gulf, you don't have the Atlantic circulating in that moisture, you have Kansas air or Missouri air, which is much drier. Just ask anyone from the Midwest. And so whenever we have that moving into the forecast, getting these pop-up showers becomes a little bit more of an impossibility. So those rain chances, yes, Futurecast is displaying those, not expecting that into that overnight hour or any part of our evening plans. Those showers primarily stick around that Noxubee, Pickens, and even towards Winston and Attala County into that overnight forecast. Now let's talk about 10 p.m. Still partly cloudy skies around the region. That's been the primary focal point for our day today. Drier, but that cloud cover still lingering just a bit. That becomes a little bit less towards our Friday morning as that moisture carries off there towards the south along with that boundary. Mostly clear skies for our morning commute on our Friday. Low temperatures, what a sight to see. Let's just soak it in for a second because this is good. This is perfect. Mid to upper 60s and a few 70s trickled in there, but we were talking about 75 to I believe 77 was our highest low temperature this morning. So the fact that our highest low temperature for tomorrow is 70, Whew, that is picture perfect. The rest of us, mid to upper 60s, so feeling noticeably cooler. Don't break out the sweatshirts just yet. I know it's exciting and you want to, but we're still a ways away from that full fall forecast. We're at least trending in the right direction, right? Looking at the rest of your Friday, that mostly clear conditions, those will linger into the forecast. You can see where the moisture is residing, and that's going to be primarily on the south side of our viewing area, south of 82, pushing more towards the Gulf Coast for those rain chances, but keeping the cloud cover around that Highway 82 Golden Triangle area for our Friday morning. Extending that forecast out into the lunch hour, maybe. Is it clicked off?
It's still on the graphic.
I'm going to take a step off screen real quick. I am so confused what just happened. Caleb, you might be spacebarring this because I think my clicker just broke. So 10:30 on your Friday, still staying on the drier side. Those winds coming out of the north still, so bring in that drier air. I'm going to check and see. Yeah, I think we're spacebarring this the rest of the way. Noontime, staying on the drier side as well. Those winds still breezy out of the north there in the delta. It's going to be cooling us off and making it feel a little bit drier. Into the afternoon, that same forecast persists, so it's going to be that picture perfect forecast part 2 into our Friday, a perfect end to that work week. As we head into those afternoon plans, of course, staying on the drier side as well. That carries over into the evening, so make sure to head outside for any of your Friday afternoon and evening plans. Teachers, if you're watching right now, let's plan those days outside, or at least an activity outside, so students can enjoy this forecast. Some of that moisture tries to go north of that boundary just a bit, and we're seeing some isolated rain chances in that same area we're seeing right now, Noxubee, Pickens County, and even as far north as Lowndes County. But those high temperatures still seasonable this time of year, a step back from where we were yesterday or the day before, but still around our average about 92. So 91 Tupelo, 91 Amory, 87 Boonville, 89 Corinth, seeing 90 South Haven, Senatobia, and 93 there towards Grenada. Heat indices, not too much more than that. We were tracking 89 in Boonville. Well, it feels like 90. So that drier air circulating in, and that's of course going to make our forecast feel so much better. Those 90s become slightly more bearable. So that Friday evening forecast, staying on the drier side once again. And so for any plans, make sure to take it outside just to enjoy that forecast. I'm going to take a step over here because those rain chances do try to circulate into our northwest Alabama counties. That's as that boundary lifts a little bit more towards the north, but overall not high on those rain chances. And of course, I have a friend trying to join me right there. But that moisture, we're going to stay on the drier side. Those chances very limited for anything on your Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. This is actually one of our more aggressive models, and the fact that it's only showcasing a few spotty showers on the northwest side of Alabama, pretty ideal once again. So that shows those drier conditions moving into the forecast once again. Where that moisture will reside is out there towards Alabama, so not expecting that here in North Mississippi. This continues to look like an ideal forecast once again. That carries over into the evening and into the overnight hours as we head further into our Sunday. Weekend in its entirety looking much drier, and we'll of course walk through that forecast in more detail heading into our weekend with meteorologist Caleb Edelblue. There you see it. And I'm not going to advance just yet. Let's go back one graphic real quick because I want to show off what was happening at the end of that. We might have to circulate through the Futurecast once again. So let's just go ahead and circulate through all the way through Saturday. And you might be saying, Gabe, what's the big deal with Saturday? It's dry. There's a key part to our forecast going forward that Matt was hinting at that'll make those conditions feel so much better. It's going to be happening late Saturday night and into your Sunday morning, providing maybe some isolated showers, but just wait. It's going to be worth it. There's your cold front. It's moving in once again, heading into our Sunday, and that cold front right there, dropping our temperatures into the low 80s for high temperatures, low 60s for low temperatures, possibly even upper 50s for our northernmost counties. And that's what we're tracking. That extended forecast is much cooler temperatures. It'll finally feel so much better. And that fake fall, yeah, we can definitely call it that towards the midweek of next week. High temperatures, low to mid 90s. You do see some high temperatures. I think this is a bit of a stretch. 97 Greenwood, Belzona, and 98 there towards Greenville. I don't think we're getting that high, especially with those northern winds, but we could definitely get into the mid 90s, a little increase in those high temperatures, but those feels like values still sticking right around that same mark. I shouldn't even use the word sticking because it's not going to be a sticky forecast whatsoever. Feeling like the low to mid 90s, and those actual temperatures low to mid 90s. So an ideal forecast once again. But as we track that out through the weekend and those temperatures, you can definitely see that we climbed just slightly right to our normal high for Saturday and Sunday, but that front on your Sunday drops those temperatures. Upper 80s Monday, low 80s for Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm so excited. I told Caleb I might wear a sweatshirt just because we can. Don't wear it today, or don't wear it tomorrow morning, but maybe next week we could be talking about that, especially for our early risers. Heat indices, we can go back one graphic real quick. Heat indices follow that same trend, just with that drier air. It's keeping things on the much calmer side when it comes to those temperatures. Actually, we don't have a graphic that showcases it because the heat indices go well below 90. It's going to be feeling right around that low 80 mark for our peak heating there towards the afternoon. So lots to be excited about in that extended forecast. Only thing is, if you want rainfall, this is not exactly the forecast for rainfall. Limited rain chances over the next several days. That front kicking in a few isolated chances Monday and Tuesday. Not overly high on those, and even 20% might be a little bit on the higher side, but the temperatures cooling off. That is definitely the story, dropping into the low 80s by midweek next week. So definitely a forecast to enjoy, and I hope that you are ready for it, but already feeling the better effects here in North Mississippi as of right now. So what we're going to do real quick is actually, well, of course, take a look at these temperatures once again, but join with our Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon out in the field with a latest look at what he's experiencing out there at the Heritage Center.
Yeah, we're here at the Chickasaw Heritage Center site, actually coming together. With me is Brady Davis and Brad Doremus. Brady is the CEO of the Chickasaw Encana Foundation, and Brad is basically the director here of the Chickasaw Heritage Center. Thank you guys so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to come grab the phone. And thank you so much, Tripp, for acting as cameraman for us for a second. But I wanted to be able to do a little better job of kind of showing stuff around. So tell us a little bit about it as we kind of walk and talk. Well, what is all this blue behind us? And, what exactly is Chickasaw Heritage Center?
Okay, well, right now you're looking at what's going to be the exhibit hall, so a 10,000 square foot exhibit hall. The Chickasaw Heritage Center is a 160-acre campus that will tell the Chickasaw story from the Chickasaw perspective. And so it's very important for groups to be able to share their history and share their identity of who they are and how they see their place in the world. And that's what this place will do. And so we'll have a direct access off the Natchez Trace Parkway through an agreement with the Department of the Interior. We'll have over 30 acres of restored blackland prairie. That's an endangered ecological zone. We'll have the phase 1 part of the Heritage Center that will be opening in November of next year, which will have the 10,000 square foot exhibit hall, a beautiful lobby atrium that overlooks a plaza and the Blackland Prairie, an art gallery, gift shop, a multi-purpose room, and then administrative offices and collection storage there. Then phase 2, which will be right over this way, right past that piece of equipment, will be a full cafe and a full theater. A playground will be just beyond there, and then further out, going east and west, will be a stickball field. And so with a 160-acre campus and free access for the public, other than paying for the exhibit hall, this will be an anchor for the community and a hub for cultural heritage tourism in Northeast Mississippi. We're going to have trails that transverse across the entire site that connect to the National Scenic Trail of the Natchez Trace Parkway. And so there'll be something for everyone out here. There'll be a place for family, fellowship, and education. And, Mississippi has rock and roll, the blues, Civil War history, civil rights history, and a lot of First American history too. And sometimes that part of the story isn't told as much. And so this will be the only center of its kind in the region, dedicated, this size in the region, dedicated to telling the story of a people. And like I said, telling the Chickasaw story from the Chickasaw perspective. And part of the exhibits that what I think is so amazing about this is that not only will you learn about pre-removal Chickasaw history and culture, but part of the exhibit will connect you to the Chickasaw people today. And so you'll be able to learn about cultural continuity and how culture has maintained through time and how vibrant the Chickasaw Nation is today. And we hope that will encourage visitors to make their way out to Oklahoma and visit the Chickasaw Cultural Center out there and a lot of the other historical sites, and really just make a strong connection. So yeah, we're really excited.
Very excited. I have to show Ophi for a second because I know that my wife would be asking. So this is Ophi, who is kind of, we don't call him construction manager. No, that's Tripp over here. Appreciate Tripp, who is also cameraman a second ago. We'll talk to Brad in just a moment. But Ophi is dog in chicken.
Yes.
There's so many, words, so many bits of language and things. Those are the kind of things we could potentially, be talking about learning here. I'm going to bring Brad Doremus in, who's, once this gets off the ground, this kind of becomes your project. Already has been in planning, these different type of exhibits that schools are going to come tour, families, from not just right in and around Lee County, but from all across the region, not just even Mississippi.
You're really going to see this place come alive. And it's not just the building, it's going to be the people, the atmosphere. We're inviting people to come be a part of this journey with us. The whole campus is free, like Brady mentioned, and there'll be a small charge for different areas like the exhibit hall. But for the main part, we're going to have lots of free activities for family to come and just enjoy themselves, be a part of the culture, have a family atmosphere here. That's what we're all about.
How many square feet is it on phase one?
Phase one is roughly about 45. Is that close to that? 10,000 square foot here, 10,000 square foot here. I'm off on my math. About 8,000 here, and then up there.
So about 45,000.
45, yeah.
Man, that's a large. I mean, it's a large undertaking, as you probably could just see from the footprint. Yeah,
we'll be pouring soon this 180 yards. Is that right, Trip?
Right. Yep.
And a lot of concrete.
A lot of concrete. Just FYI, each concrete truck holds 8 yards. I like saying that. I'm sharing with everybody.
You know, and the thing, this has not just been a few-year undertaking. There have been people in this region that have been, looking at this wanting to be a part of this for decades. Since the last century.
Absolutely. So the desire for a cultural center here in the homeland, which is all of Northeast Mississippi, Western Tennessee, far northwestern Alabama, and far southwestern Kentucky, has been 40 years in the making. In 1980, there were a group of people who were very adamant about having a cultural center here, and actually part of that group, our chairperson of our board, Miss Jamie Joyner, was in on that group, as well as Jack Reed Sr., and Jack Reed Jr. is on our board as well. So there's been kind of a generational connection to creating a site like this. Around 1990, there was another push for a site that also did not materialize, but around 2012, we started seeing some more momentum, and then by 2015, 2016, we were in the development phase, and then starting to fundraise and move forward with the development of the center. And so, yes, many years in the making, and we are extremely excited to really see where we are today. It's humbling to see such an amazing site come to be.
So how can people help if they want to be a part of this? Because obviously this is a lot of the money has been raised, but there's still an opportunity. As you mentioned, this is phase one. Right. There's a phase two that's part of this. How can people get involved?
Well, this is a $60 million project, and right now we have a little over $44 million in total. So, we're able to complete phase one and start moving in on phase two, but we need the public's help. And, we still have about $15 million that we need to raise. And so, our intention is to seamlessly go from phase one into phase two, and that's still looking very plausible. And so we're really excited about that. But, our capital campaign is called The Journey Home, and we want people to join us on this journey to create the Chickasaw Heritage Center. And so you can become a charter member for as little as $250. And if you become a charter member at that level, you get a beautiful medallion and a certificate, and also a few other perks. But those levels increase, and you can go to our website, ChickasawHeritageCenter.com, to learn more about those levels. We also have corporate giving and a number of naming opportunities for different areas of the facility available as well. Once this facility is complete, areas of it will be rentable for events, the multi-purpose room, the outdoor plaza. So we already have people contacting us about putting on events in the spring of 2027 because they want to be a part of the Chickasaw Heritage Center. And so we're really excited about that as well. We're looking at roughly early estimates of around 100,000 visitors a year, and around $6 million economic impact a year, and 25 jobs starting off. But with phase two, there'll definitely be more than that. And like Brad was saying, on a 160-acre campus, this place really will be an anchor for the community, and not just the region and beyond the region. Of course, we're going to get a lot of cultural heritage tourism, but we're going to have the community will come here. And so the Chickasaw Cultural Center in Oklahoma, they have a big, huge theater, and they do $5 popcorn and movies on Sundays sometimes, and we're going to have a small theater. And so I don't see why in the future we won't be able to put on that kind of programming for the citizens of this area as well.
So as we kind of wrap things up, I'll try to put, and I'll give folks the website again. And while I'm saying that, Caleb or Gabe, go ahead and write this down, and we will tag that during a 6 o'clock broadcast. So give us the website, the way people can get involved one more time.
So you can go to ChickasawHeritageCenter.com. We're also on Facebook, and so please like, share, post. You can follow Encana Foundation, and you can visit the Encana Foundation at encana.org.
Okay. Appreciate so much Brady Davis, Brad Doremus, and as I'm just kind of panning around here, we'll have another look coming up at 6 o'clock. I'll try to get some video that maybe we can kind of post online as well. But just very thankful for the opportunity to kind of give you this exclusive first look here. I'm going to see if I can hold the camera backward. I can't really frame myself up right there. But of course, from the Chickasaw Heritage Center site here in Tupelo, again, a reminder that we had some folks asking earlier, well, where is this at? This is in Tupelo, and it's not very far from I-22. If you know where the Chickasaw Village site is along the Natchez Trace Parkway, it's pretty much adjoining to that site and that land. One of the cool things, they're also going to have a full representation of what one of those Chickasaw homes would look like here on site. There's just so many things. And the thing I always try to remind my kids is that, Chickasaw history is our history. If you live here, if you have a house here, the majority of the land that the Chickasaws were on for many, 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 many years, the homeland is right here in and around the Tupelo area, within a short distance, only about 10 miles or so around the Tupelo area. So if you live in that area, it's something that it's a big impact on your history because of what happened and what has gone on, and of course what's happening now with their history as well. So kind of a cool thing. But we'll wrap it up here from the Chickasaw Heritage Center site. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon from Mississippi Live Weather. We'll see you at 6 o'clock, and back to you in the studio, Gabe.
Yeah, Matt, thank you for just being a part of the 5 o'clock broadcast and giving us a live look in there. It's so cool getting to see the additions happening here in North Mississippi, not just North Mississippi, but right here in the heart of Tupelo. So make sure to go check that out, November 2026, and we will tag those links coming up tonight at 6. So all the more reason to stay tuned. We'll be walking through that forecast in more detail. The better temperatures, better than today. We are talking about that. The limited rain chances and just what to expect for your Friday and into that weekend forecast. All of that coming up in detail on Mississippi Live Weather at 6. We'll see you back here in about a half hour. That's on me. Download the app, of course. You can see the QR codes on your screen, so make sure to go download those. Android on my left, or should be your right, and then opposite there for iOS. Scan those QR codes and get the app downloaded today. And our next broadcast, as I mentioned, coming up the next half hour on Mississippi Live Weather at 6, and a follow-up one happening at Mississippi Live Weather at 10. We'll take another live look in from Matt out of the Chickasaw Heritage Center, and of course, we'll take a live look at your forecast moving forward into Friday and the weekend. We'll see you back here in about a half hour.
Growing up, Gabe was naturally curious. When he began to discover weather, Gabe just didn't want to know what was happening, but he wanted to know why it was happening. Gabe became fascinated with tornadoes, and it impacted his life. He wanted to pursue a career in meteorology. Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.